this. Alright, isa-isahin natin ang parts ng ating cell, starting with our plasma membrane. So, si plasma membrane, ano siya? It's a complex substance made up of either lipid, pwede po siya protein, pwede din naman siyang carbohydrates. And ano yung purpose ng ating plasma membrane? This will give us a protection or a covering, a barrier ng different signaling system ng ating mga organelles. Okay? So, pwede din siya for transport kasi maraming mga chemical substances na pwedeng mag-pass through sa plasma membrane ng ating cells. Now, how about the nucleus? So, I told you a while ago, yung nucleus makikita lang natin sa ating eukaryotic cells. And dyan natin makikita yung ating genetic material. Okay? So, andyan yung chromosomes natin. Pag sinabi kong chromosomes, dyan natin makikita yung genes, yung maliliit na genes, and the genes, andoon yung ating DNA, and yun yung nag-carry ng ating genetic makeup. Okay? So part of the nucleus is called nucleolus, and that is the site para mag-synthesize tayo ng RNA. Okay? And then yung RNA na ginagawa, dyan ginagamit natin to have our ribosome. So we'll talk about the ribosomes later. Now, aside from this, I'll just run through because I believe you know these things already. Gina-discuss na nato ni sa ato ang high school, yung mga parts ng ating cells, and then yung different organs. I believe, tapos na yan siya. So, run through lang tayo, parang review lang. Now, mitochondrion or the mitochondria, pag marami, sa high school, we know this as our powerhouse. Okay? This is our powerhouse ng cell. Ano nahimo man na siya powerhouse? Kasi dyan, class, nagpo-produce ng energy yung ating cells. Okay? Dyan nagpo-produce yung mga ATPs na yan na kailangan natin para mag-function yung cells natin. Dyan yan siya, sa mitochondria. Okay, so if you're going to look at its structure, meron siyang series of folds. This one, we call that the cristae. Okay? So, meron siyang sariling DNA niya, and actually, it was believed to have originated as a captured bacterium. Nevertheless, ang main function is to produce our ATPs for the energy of the cell. Now, what else? Ano pa yung makikita natin sa cells natin? This one here is our rough endoplasmic reticulum. And parang mga folds din siya, no? Or mga network of interconnected membranes. Okay? And bakit siya tinatawag na rough? Kasi meron siyang presence ng ribosomes. That makes it rough. Or yan yung nagbibigay sa kanya ng rough appearance. Okay? So ano yung gamit ng ating rough endoplasmic reticulum? Since andyan yung ribosomes, meaning dyan din tayo nagpo-produce ng proteins. Kasi pag sinabi mong ribosomes, always bear that in mind. Pag sinabing ribosomes, yan yung ating site for protein synthesis. Okay? So, yan na din yung nagiging function ni rough endoplasmic reticulum. Kasi nga, andyan makikita yung ribosomes. Okay? So, do not forget that ha. Pag sinabing ribosomes, protein synthesis. Although, we can also assemble RNA there. Pero the main function is for protein synthesis. And then this one here sa baba is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Bakit siya smooth? Kasi wala na siyang presence ng ribosomes. Okay, so ano na lang siya? A simple or hindi na siya complicated network of interconnected membranes. So, ano na ngayon yung purpose ng ating smooth endoplasmic reticulum? Hindi na siya syempre for protein synthesis kasi nga wala na dyan yung ribosomes natin. Instead, we use this sa ating cell for the synthesis and at the same time metabolism functioning ng ating mga lipids. Okay, so this time lipids naman ang um, ginagawa ng smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And at the same time, our smooth ER class has enzymes. Tapos ang enzymes na yan ginagamit para maglinis ng ating cells. So ano yung nililinis niya kapag may nakapasok na mga exogenous or mga xenobiotics, mga substances na hindi talaga part ng ating body, mga chemical substances, ganon. So, pwede siyang mag-detoxify, maglilinis siya. Yan yung purpose ng enzyme na nire-release ng smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So, when I say chemicals that are not really produced by the body, that includes the drugs as well as kung may naka-ingest no, ng mga poisons like pesticides. Okay? And then we have here the Golgi apparatus, or they sometimes pronounce this as Golgi bodies, Golgi apparatus. Some would pronounce this as Golgi apparatus. So, ito naman, hindi na siya like interconnected membranes, no? This time, stacked membranes na siya. So, as you can see, parang pinagpatong-patong na mga membranes. Okay? So, ano yung nasa Golgi apparatus? Ay, ano yung purpose niya? Yung mga ginawa class sa RAF ER, diba, mag-produce siya ng proteins or kung ano mang ipoproduce ng RER natin, ng RAF ER natin, magmo-move yan siya, dadalhin yan siya doon sa Golgi apparatus. Okay? So, magmo-move. For example, proteins. Na-produce siya sa RAF ER, pupunta siya ngayon sa Golgi apparatus and itong organelles na ito ang magpa-process sa na-produce na proteins and then it will mature and pag nag-mature na yung protein na nagawa ng RAF ER doon sa Golgi apparatus, mag-a-assume na siya ng function ngayon. Okay, doon na siya magkakaroon ng function kasi complete na siya. It's a mature substance na. Okay? Tapos, ise-secrete na siya, pupunta siya sa kanyang final destination. Nevertheless, ano yung purpose ng ating Golgi apparatus? To process. To process the substances like proteins produced from the RAF ER. Okay? Ipaprocess niya yan para mabuo, para maging complete, and magkakaroon na siya ng function. Now, how about this one? This is our lysozyme, or kung syempre kung marami lysozymes. It's still an organelle, and from the name itself, meron siyang mga substances and even enzymes, and then ang trabaho niya talaga is to degrade yung mga chemical substances na hindi na natin kailangan. Okay? So, pwede siyang proteins, pwede siyang other parts of the cells na hindi na kailangan. Kailangan na siyang ilabas. Okay? Siya muna yung mag-degrade. Okay? So, hindi lang ito parts ng cells ha. Hindi lang siya like proteins na nabuo inside the cell and then wala na siya, hindi na siya kailangan, useful. Pwede din naman siya actually yung mga non-cells or like hindi siya part sa cell or non-self din tawag natin. Like bacteria. Pag nakapasok yun siya inside ng cell, pwedeng mag-act yung ating lysozymes to get rid of the bacteria. Okay? So ano pa ang meron sa ating cells? We have the peroxisomes or microbodies. Actually, parehas sila ng trabaho ng lysozyme class. It's just that very specific si peroxisome ano meron sa kanya? It's the hydrogen peroxide. Yan yung chemical substance na pinuproduce ng ng ating peroxisome. Siya nagpo-produce siya, din nagde-degrade niyan. And then, ano yan siya? Actually, mapoproduce yung hydrogen peroxide yan during metabolism. So, ginagamit siya to detoxify, pero at the same time, that is toxic sa cell. So, kailangan niya ding ilabas yan. Okay? So, yan siya. Ang ating peroxisome. Kaya siya tinawag na peroxisome kasi nga, siya nang po-produce ng peroxide. Peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide. And then siya din ang nag-excrete. Okay, and then what else? Cytoplasm. Ano ba ang cytoplasm? It's the liquid portion of the cell. And dyan natin makikita yung ating organelles. So dyan, nakalagay silang lahat sa cytoplasm na yan. So that's outside the nucleus. And the cytoplasm is made up of cytoskeleton, which are proteins. Proteins yan siya na nagbibigay ng shape sa ating cell, sa ating cytoplasm. And ano yan siya? That provides basis for movement ng ating cells mismo. So, protein yan siya ha. Or, kung sa cells pa, like even sa chromosomes, meron tayong mga cytoskeleton in the form of microtubules and microfilaments. So, siya yung mag-guide ng mga movement ng kung anumang nasa loob. And at the same time, it will give us the shape of our cells. Makikita natin yan siya sa cytoplasm. So, the question is, which part of our animal cell is not present in the plant cell and vice versa? Yes, Miss David.
Centrioles po, ma'am.
Centrioles. What else? Yung nasa animals na wala sa plant cells. Miss Tibbs, do you want to add something?
The green pigment po, ma'am, which is chlorophyll.
Okay. That is for the plant now. Meron siya sa plant, pero wala siya sa animal cells. Miss Kaitor.
Lysosome po.
Lysosome. Okay, lysosome. What else? Meron pa ba kayong gustong i-add? Depende ko na tawag. Miss Nonat.
Cell wall po, ma'am.
Cell wall. So, please take note ha. Yung mga animal cells, even human cells, wala tayong cell wall. Pakikita lang natin yan sa plant cells. Miss Kimado, do you want to add?
Sa animal cell po, ma'am, centrosomes po.
Centrosomes na part ng ating centrioles. Okay, let's discuss that one by one later, ha? Mr. Quizon, you want to answer also?
Sa plant cell po, chloroplast po.
Okay, so that's chloroplast na na-mention kanina that produces chlorophyll for photosynthesis. Let's check. Let's check the difference of our plant and animal cells. Both of them are eukaryotic cells. But definitely meron yan siyang differences. So take note, pag sinabi mong plant cell, meron yan siyang plastid and at the same time cell wall that give the plant cells rigidity. Okay? Kaya nga wala tayong cell wall, no? Kasi di na tayo makalihok kung naatay cell wall. Kasi nga that is for rigidity, that is for the protection of the cells. So si animal cells naman, wala tayong plastid, which is a protein substance, and wala din tayong cell walls. Okay? But tama kay kanina. Meron tayong centrioles. Sama tayo sa animal cells, ha? So, yung centrioles na yan, actually is made up of microtubules also, and it helps during the cell division. Okay? So, cell division, ang tawag dyan? Yung cytoskeleton support of the cell, yun yung meron tayo. Okay? And then, the plant contains the vacuole. Ano ba gamit ng vacuole, class? Anyone? Kasi wala yan sa atin. Nasa animal cells. Ay, sa animal cells. Sa plant cells. Yes, Miss Malyari.
If maalala ko po ng tama, ma'am, ang vacuole is mas malaki po siya na storage ng water.
Okay, very good. That is correct. It's actually an organelle that is filled with fluid. Yun yung kanyang purpose, to store water. Pero hindi lang water, ha? It can also store the nutrients sa plants as well as the waste. Yan yung gamit na vacuole. So it's a very large vacuole for the plants, while for the animals, we don't really have that large vacuole, but we may have, the animal cells may have small temporary vacuoles. Okay? And then, ano pa yung kanilang difference? Our plant cells store excess glucose as starch. So please remember, yung sugar, yung carbohydrate stored sa plants, ang tawag natin dyan, starch. Pero, pag sinabing animal cells, that includes human, ang stored carbohydrate natin ay glycogen. That's a very big difference. Although parehas silang made up of glucose, no? Pero it's a big molecule. Glucose lang yung content, pero iba na kasi yung structure nila. So, starch na yung sa plants, yung sa atin naman, glycogen. So, usually, we store glycogen in our liver and at the same time in our skeletal muscles. Pag wala na tayong class carbohydrate, dun na time na kukunin natin yung na-store. Like sa liver or sa skeletal muscle. Kaya hindi tayo agad namamatay kung hindi tayo kakain. Hindi tayong tamaluya. Kasi meron pa tayong mga stored carbohydrates. Okay? And then for plant cells, they don't have cholesterol. And I believe you know this na yung ating cell membrane, which we describe as a lipid bilayer, no? Merong mga embedded dyan na cholesterol. And that holds the cells together. That is for the integrity of the cell. And then for plant cells, fixed and at the same time regular ang shape. Kasi nga, di ba, may cell wall sila. Okay, that is for rigidity and that gives the shape of the plant cells. However, yung sa animal cells, since wala tayong cell wall, we have amorphous shape. Okay, so yan yung difference. So, again, the difference, wala tayong cell wall, but we do have cell membrane. Okay, so yung cell membrane na yan holds the cells together. Okay, so lahat kung anong meron sa loob ng cell, magpo-protect niyan si cell membrane. So that divides now the inside of the cell from the environment, from the outside. And take note that our cell membrane is semi-permeable, which means meron siyang pinapapass through na mga substances and meron din siyang hindi pinapapass through. So, selective siya. Okay? So, most likely, yung mga ions na yan, hindi yan siya basta-bastang nakakapasok sa cells. And then, yung mga organic molecules, especially yung mga malalaking molecules, hindi yan sila nakakapasok basta-basta sa ating cell membrane. Nakakapasok naman, but syempre, merong ibang mechanism. Okay, so hindi talaga yung automatic na magpa-pass through yung mga substances na yan. So yung cell membrane has a lot of things na ginagawa, processes, such as cell adhesion, pwedeng magkaroon ng ng connection between one cell to another or kung anumang material. Ion conductivity, dito na papasok yung, kasi hindi talaga passive sa ion yung ating cell membrane. So, meron naman siyang kakayahan, although, no, for ion conductivity. Let's talk about that later. And then, cell signaling also. So, there will be a mechanism para magkaroon class ng communication ang isang cell to another cell. Okay? So, ano yung ating table na ito? This is now the difference between a cell membrane and a plasma membrane para hindi tayo ma-confuse and hindi natin ma-interchange yung dalawang ito. Pag sinabi nating cell membrane, yan yung magso-surround ng entire cell. So, kung ano yung nasa loob, ang cell membrane ang magso-surround yan, magbibigay ng protection, and maghihiwalay doon sa outside environment. But please take note, pag sinabing plasma membrane, ano lang yung kanyang gina-surround? Yung cell organelles. Okay? So for example, mitochondria, it's a cell organelle. So para ma-distinguish mo siya na siya talaga ay isang mitochondria, ang nagso-surround niya, nagse-separate niyan from the other organelles, yung plasma membrane. So nasa loob ang plasma membrane. Okay? So si cell membrane regulates the tonicity of the cell. Pag sinabing tonicity of the cell, yung mga ion content, kung mag-in and out yan sila, ang mag-regulate si cell membrane. Kasi 'di ba semi-permeable siya. And yung ions kasi are charged particles, and because they are charged, hindi yan sila basta-bastang nagpa-pass through sa cell. So nire-regulate yan ng cell membrane. Pero hindi yan siya nire-regulate ng plasma membrane. Once yung mga ions na yan, yung mga salts na yan nakapasok na inside sa cell, papasok na talaga yan siya even sa mga organs. Pwede na yan siyang mag-function doon. Kasi hindi na yan siya nire-regulate ng plasma membrane that supports or that surrounds the organelles. And then what else? Cell membrane can be transformed to stimulate movement and feeding in organisms such as paramecium. So, I hope you have learned sa inyong high school, di ba, na mga parts sa cell na used for locomotion. Example, the cilia, yung mga maliliit na parang spike, that is for the movement of the cell. Tapos meron din tayong flagella, yung mahaba, parang buntot, ganun. That is actually a part of the cell membrane. So, ano yan siya nag-transform for that purpose, for movement. And yung iba is for feeding of the cell. Okay? So, si plasma membrane, hindi natin siya pwedeng ma-modify. Yan, membrane lang talaga siya na nag-surround ng ating organelles. So, hindi na siya mag-transform into cilia or flagella. Nasa loob na siya. So, cell membrane ang pwedeng mag-transform. And then, cell membrane contains initial receptors for signal transduction and is the first step in cell signaling. So, ano gusto niyang sabihin? Yung cell membranes daw natin, merong mga receptors. Okay? So, yung sa receptors na yan, dyan mag-i-interact yung kapwa cell or dyan din mag-i-interact yung mga chemical substance. Like, kung iinom tayo ng drug, ng gamot, dyan mag-i-interact yung gamot class sa cell membrane receptors para magkaroon siya ng effect. Okay? So, si plasma membrane naman, it is not the first step in cell signaling kasi nga nasa loob siya, 'di ba? Pero involved pa rin siya sa process. Kasi once nagkaroon na ng interaction doon sa receptors ng cell membrane, yung mga chemical substances na yan, magkakaroon yan siya ng function inside the cell, and magko-communicate niyan siya sa different organelles inside. So, pwede siyang mag-communicate sa plasma membrane. Now, si cell membrane, syempre, protects the cell from what we call as xenobiotic and yung mga non-self, yung hindi part ng ating body, like bacteria and viruses. Pero yung plasma membrane, hindi yan siya kayang mag-protect from outside invader. Kasi nasa loob na siya, yung organelles lang yung sinusurround niya. So it will always be the cell membrane that regulates the movement of anything outside the cell and even inside. And then, syempre, since the cell membrane surrounds the entirety of the cell, this one is involved during cell division. The cell division, the cytokinesis na process. And then yung plasma naman, wala. Wala siyang role doon sa cytokinesis. Okay? And then, na-mention ko na ito kanina, part of the cell membrane can be transformed into something that is involved in the movement, like the cilia. So, si cilia, do not forget that that can be used for feeding of the cell. Merong mga bagay-bagay na ini-engulf ng ating cell, no? Kinakain niya. Okay? So, si cilia naman is absent kasi hindi yan siya nagtatransform ang plasma membrane. And nasabi ko kanina, yung cell membranes natin do contain receptors where our chemical substances inside the body may interact. So, therefore, pwede siyang maging target ng drugs like antibacterials or mga antimicrobials. Doon yan siya mag-communicate sa receptors na nasa cell membrane. So, si antimicrobials, hindi yan siya mag-i-interact. Hindi target yung plasma membrane kasi walang receptors doon. Okay? So, I hope we are refreshed with the difference between the cell membrane and plasma membrane para hindi natin ma-interchange ang dalawang ito. Just remember, cell membrane for the whole cell, the entirety of the cell. Plasma membranes are for the organelles. Okay, any question or clarification? Signa mo'y gustong ipangutan na. Related to our subject. Siyempre. Yes, Mr. Hoston.
Present ko, ma'am, ha. Pasensya kayo, kinalobat ko. How about ng katong enzyme o ang catalyst sa mga cell?
Wait lang. Time isa. Attendance muna. Kaya para di ko makalimot. Kaya para di
Okay.
ka maabsenan. Okay. Thanks. Save natin. Taga-cellphone lang. Kaya ka po yung sige, balhin-balhin o screen for the attendance.
Okay po,
Kailangan.
ma'am.
Sige. Okay. Unsa na to sunod?
How about katong mga important role, ma'am, like mga enzyme, katong mga catalyst, nga na, good. Katong,
Okay, so si enzyme class is a chemical substance produced by our cells also. Si enzymes, please take note, protein kasi yan. So definitely, part yan siya sa ginagawa ng ribosome. So usually, 90% of our enzymes, proteins yan siya. So napoproduce pa rin siya sa cells. And yes, it can interact with the different organelles ng cells natin. Or kung na-release naman siya from the cell outside, pwede siyang mag-interact sa ating cell membrane doon sa receptors na sinasabi ko. And then, pag nag-interact na yan siya doon sa receptor, doon na siya mag-cause ng certain effect. So, si enzyme is actually a biological catalyst. Okay? Again, enzymes are considered biological catalyst. Pag sinabi nyo kasing catalyst, they speed up a certain reaction. Or to be specific, a chemical reaction. So, yan talaga ang work ng enzyme. Mag-speed up lang ng chemical reaction. Hindi sila affected, hindi sila kasama dun sa equation. May nakakita man dyan mo chemical reaction. It's an equation. Meron kang reactant. Magre-react itong dalawang substances na ito. Magpo-form ng products. Si enzyme class, although meron siyang effect doon sa reaction na yan, pero hindi siya kasama doon sa reaction. Ang trabaho niya lang mag-speed up ng chemical reaction. So, sa body, pag na-produce yung enzymes na yan, mag-speed up lang din siya ng chemical reaction. For example, for digestion, merong yung cells natin nagpo-produce ng salivary amylase. So, pag na-produce yan siya, ano gagawin niya? Mag-speed up lang siya ng metabolism na kinakain natin, especially carbohydrates. Okay? So, magkakaroon yan ng product, syempre, dahil ano yan siya, chemical reaction. So, ang product na yan, tinatawag natin na metabolite. metabolite, product siya ng metabolism. So usually, yung function ng ating enzyme sa body is for metabolism, speeding up the metabolism ng mga processes inside. Okay? Pero please take note, 90% of our enzymes are protein. So, saan siya napoproduce? Sa ribosome. And then, pinaprocess yan siya sa Golgi apparatus para maging enzyme talaga siya. Kasi sa Golgi apparatus pa mag-a-assume ng function yung mga na-produce na protein. Okay? From the ribosomes. I hope I answered your question. Anything else? Perpetua. Walang internet? Okay. Sige. So, kung wala na tayong question, let's move on to the cell membrane model. So, meron tayong dalawang models or theory for our cell membrane. Number one, we have here the lipid bilayer or unit membrane theory, and let's discuss also our fluid mosaic model. So, according to this one, siya ang first nag-propose nito. He was an anatomist, a physician, and a biochemist, James David Robertson. Yung plasma membrane daw is composed of 2 layers. So, ano yung nasa layers ng ating plasma membrane? It's 2 layers of phospholipid. Kaya nga siya tinawag na lipid bilayer. Okay, so these 2 layers of phospholipid is yan siya between the 2 surface layers of proteins also. So meron siyang hydrophilic na head. Pag sinabi kong hydrophilic class, hydro means water. Pag merong phile or philic yung isang word, it means loving. So gusto niya yung water, hydrophilic. So mag-accommodate yan siya ng water. Okay? And then these hydrophilic head groups of the phospholipids face the protein layers and meron siyang hydrophobic tail. Hydro, again, water. Phobic means ayaw niya ng water. Phobia. Meron siyang hydrophobic tail groups of the phospholipids aligned in the interior. Kaya, di ba, pag nagdodraw tayo ng ating cell membrane, we draw it like this. Meron kang hydrophilic head, and then meron kang hydrophobic tail. Ito yung tail. They are found inside, and lipid bilayer, dalawa. So, syempre, marami, no? Dugtong-dugtong. So, that's how we draw our lipid bilayer. Okay? So, again, itong part na ito yung head, which is considered hydrophilic. Ito yung gusto ang water. And then, inside, we have the tail. And then, the tail is considered hydrophobic. Yung gusto nito, usually fats. Kasi ayaw niya ng tubig. Okay? So, that is the first theory of our membrane. So, ganito siya. Kung titingnan natin. So, this is the cell exterior outside. And then, meron tayong membrane proteins surrounding the phospholipid bilayer inside. So, itong phospholipid bilayer natin, nakasandwich ito sa protein. This is how we picture our cell membrane. So, dito sa loob na, kasi since this is a membrane, dito sa loob na yung cell interior. So, dito na yung mga organelles. Okay? And then, again, this whole structure surrounds the cell, or kung plasma membrane ito, this one surrounds our organelles. Okay? However, meron tayong another model na ito na yung ginagamit talaga natin, no? The fluid mosaic model, which was postulated by Singer and Nicholson. So, according to them, lipid bilayer pa rin naman siya. Pero meron, syempre, dagdag. Yung cell membrane daw natin, merong globular proteins na embedded doon sa dynamic fluid ng ating lipid bilayer matrix. Okay? So, yung protein na yan embedded nandoon sa lipid bilayer na yan. Okay? And these proteins provide a pathway para sa selective transfer of certain polar molecules and charged ions through the lipid bilayer. Kaya nga, di ba, yung cell membrane natin, we call that semi-permeable. Kung meron siyang pinapapass through easily na mga substances, meron ding hindi. So sabi ko kanina, for example, yung ions or yung mga organic molecules na mga malalaki, hindi yan sila basta-bastang nakakapasok. Kasi lipid bilayer. So, mahirap kung charged ang particles. And then, syempre, pag malaki ang particles, especially kapag water, ang tawag dyan, water soluble yung substance at mahirap yan siyang makapasok kasi lipid yung ating cell membrane. Now, sabi ko kanina, nakakapasok pa rin sila. Ito na yon. The proteins embedded sa ating cell membrane, yan yung magbibigay ng daan para makapasok yung mga ions na yan. Para matransfer sila from the outside to the inside or vice versa. Okay? So, ano yan siya? We describe our fluid mosaic model as protein icebergs in an oily sea. So, ngayon, this is now the complete model of our cell membrane. Kanina, di ba, may protein na naga-sandwich sa lipid bilayer, but this time, the proteins are embedded sa gitna ng mga lipid bilayer na yan. And yung protein na ito na yung sinasabi kong receptors kanina. They may act as receptors where chemical substances may interact and magkukos ng function, ng effect sa cell. Pero they provide also a kind of transport mechanism of the substances na hindi basta-bastang nakakapasok like ions and mga complex na mga organic substances. So, dyan sila dadaan sa mga proteins na yan. So, again, we call that the fluid mosaic model. So, yan yung difference now of the first lipid bilayer theory. And ito na yung ating complete, the fluid mosaic model. Okay, so yan, pag ipagtabi natin sila. The proteins are embedded here for the fluid mosaic model. Alright? So, yung ating cells class, syempre, they are made up of chemical substances also, and they work also because of those chemical substances. Okay? So, just like cells are the building blocks para magkaroon ng tissues, again, pag idugtong-dug, diba? Networks of cells that make the tissues. Yung molecules naman build up our cells. So, magsa-start yan siya with a chemical molecule. Now, please take note that our animal and plant cells contain approximately 10,000 kinds of biomolecules. Okay, Ms. Perpetua. Okay. But, karamihan doon sa mga substances na nasa cells, water. So, at least 50 to 95% of our cell content is water. But aside from that, meron ding ions. Kasi sabi ko kanina, di ba, pwede naman mag-pass through those embedded proteins like sodium, potassium, calcium ions. These constitute 1%, at least 1% of our cells. And yung mga biomolecules na makikita natin sa cells are actually considered organic, which means meron siyang presence of carbon. But aside from carbon, we can always see hydrogen. Siyempre, yan yung partner ng ating carbon. And aside from that, elements like nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur may also be contents of those biomolecules. But our discussion will revolve around carbon. Okay? Especially hydrocarbons, meaning the connection between carbon and hydrogen. And paano yan siya magfa-function? Kaya ako nagdi-discuss ng organic chemistry class. Kasi you really need to know how carbon behaves. And then, yung carbon na yan, para magkaroon siya ng function, magkakaroon siya ng interaction with other elements, and doon na mabubuo yung tinatawag natin na functional groups. And yung functional groups na yan will determine ano yung magiging activity ng organic biomolecules na yan. And yung talagang reason bakit ako nagdi-discuss like sa laboratory ng organic chemistry. So, ito yung i-run through ko lang ha, pero meron talaga tayong separate na chapter kada isa ka biomolecule. Pero ito yung small biomolecules muna before tayo mag-discuss ng mga malalaking biomolecules. So, let's start with the first one here. Major classes lang ito ng ating biomolecules, our amino acids. Ito yung ating general formula ng ating amino acid. Meron kang carbon dyan sa gitna, which is bonded to one hydrogen. So, meron kang isang hydrogen for a while. I just need my pen. Ayan. So, meron kang isang hydrogen dyan bonded to this carbon. Meron kang amino group, or we can write this as NH2. Naging ion lang ito siya. And then, meron kang COOH dyan. These are constant ha. So, hindi yan siya nagbabago. Amino and the carboxyl group. Ito yung nagbabago. Pag sinabing R group, any functional group ito. And yan yung mag-determine kung anong klaseng amino acid yung nag-exist. Na ano yung trabaho ng amino acid na yan? Yan yung building blocks ng ating proteins. So, maliliit na amino acids, idugtong-dugtong mo class, magbibigay siya ng protein. And meron tayong at least 20 commonly occurring amino acids inside our body. So, do not forget ha, anong meron sa ating amino acid? Meron yan siyang amino group and meron yan siyang carboxyl group. Constant. Hindi ito nagbabago. So, behavioral properties yan ng amino acid. But, yung magde-determine talaga ng chemical property ng ating amino acid is this one, the side chain or the R group. Yung R group na yan, any functional group yan, pwedeng hydrogen, pwedeng ganito. So, depende kung anong amino acid nag-e-exist. Okay? So, since this is the building block of our protein, kung paano siya magdugtong-dugtong or mag-fold, yan yung determine din ng function ng protein na mabubuo. Okay? And since 'di ba magdugtong-dugtong sila, the connection between one amino acid to another amino acid is called the peptide bond. Okay? So for example, this is an amino acid here. Merong peptide bond na mag-e-exist between the two. And then, maraming peptide bond until it will become big and it will now be called proteins. Mag-a-assume na siya ng function. So, ano yung function? Since magiging protein yan, pwede siyang bumuo ng protein used for transport. Yung kagaya sa cell membrane kanina sa fluid mosaic model, may mga transport proteins doon, magta-transport ng chemical substances like ions na hindi basta-bastang nakakapasok sa cell membrane. Meron din namang proteins for structure. So, mga structural proteins siya like yung ating microtubules, yung nasa chromosome natin. Diba? Kung magdi-discuss tayo ulit ng mitosis, meron tayong phases of mitosis. Can I move on to the metaphase? Diba sa metaphase, yung chromosomes natin, magla-line dyan sa gitna, our metaphase plate. That is for the metaphase. Pero sa anaphase, diba, maghihiwalay yung chromosomes na yan. And then, one part will be placed here sa other portion of the cell. And then, yung isa naman dito. So, merong microtubule dyan sa gitna. Kung nakakakita ka ng illustration ng ating mitosis. Parang siyang linya dyan. Yan yung tinatawag natin na microtubule that forms the structure, okay, of the cell, and at the same time, siya yung hihila dyan sa chromosome na naghiwalay. Yung chromatid. Tapos maging chromosomes na siya after. That is to prepare for the cell division. So, sabi ko din sa inyo kanina, some proteins will become enzymes that are catalysts para sa mga chemical reactions inside the body. Some of them will become antibodies also. It's part of the immune system. We'll have separate discussion about antibodies. And then, some of them act as receptors. So, yung mga proteins na nasa cell membrane natin, pwede silang receptor where other chemical substances will interact. Pag nag-interact, syempre, there will be certain effect or yung magkakaroon ng physiological effect doon sa cell mismo. So, maraming trabaho, class, si amino acid, yung pagkabuo ng protein. Kaya nga, pag walang protein, walang life. Always remember that. Walang life kasi ang daming trabaho ng proteins inside the body. And before yan siya naging protein, amino acid muna siya. Kaya tinawag na building blocks of proteins, yung amino acids. Now, what else? Ano pa yung mga biomolecules na makikita natin sa body? Our sugars. Na yan yung under sa carbohydrates. And that is our number one source of energy sa body. Yan yung pinaprocess ng ating body para magkaroon tayo ng ATPs. Though we can still get ATPs from other biomolecules, no? Pero kung sinasabi natin major natin na pinagkukuhanan, sugars yon. So, pwede yan siyang mabuo ng plant. Yan yung product, isang product ng photosynthesis. And sabi ko kanina, sinustore yan siya sa plant as starch. Kung sa human body naman, sinustore natin yan as glycogen. Okay, larger molecule na siya. Dugtong-dugtong na glucose. So, yung building block talaga, gaya ng protein, may building block siya, no? Amino acid. Before siya naging protein, amino acid muna siya. Sa sugars naman, sa carbohydrate, our building block is monosaccharide. So, dugtong-dugtong na monosaccharide will give us larger molecules. Okay? Just like glycogen, this one is a large molecule already. Dugtong-dugtong na glucose yan siya. Tapos ginastore siya sa atong body. Pwede nato siya i-break down para makuha natin yung glucose na yan and it will be used to make ATPs also. And then yung sa plant starch naman, although si plant class, meron siyang another form of sugar. It's the cellulose, but cellulose is for structure. Okay, nasa cell wall ito to give the structural integrity of the plant. Ito yung storage, the starch. Okay? So function again para sa energy. Nagso-store tayo ng sugars for our energy. Kung sa plant, we call that starch. And then for animals and human, our stored carbohydrate is the glycogen. So, since energy ang pinag-uusapan natin, sugars will give us energy para sa mga different functions ng body. That includes metabolism and yung mga other chemical reactions. Okay? And then, since sugars are organic substances, syempre meron siyang carbon. And nagsusupply siya ng carbon sa ating body para sa synthesis ng other chemicals, ng other substances inside. Okay? And then, na-mention ko ang cellulose kanina. This one is a part of the plant cell that gives structure. Okay? Sa kanya. So, included pa rin yung carbohydrate para mabuo yung cells and tissues. And some sugars are involved in intercellular communication. So, hindi lang proteins na nandoon sa cell membrane ang responsible sa communication between one cell to another, meron ding carbohydrates involved doon. Okay? So, maraming function, hindi lang for energy yung ating sugar. So, dalawa na yon. You have amino acids that form proteins, and then we have our sugars. Our building blocks are the monosaccharides. What else? Ano pa meron sa body natin na organic molecules? We have our fatty acids. Si fatty acids naman, ito yung ginagamit to form fats, to form lipids. Okay? So, they are still organic substances, which means meron silang carbon sa kanilang structure. Meron tayong tinatawag na saturated fatty acids, meron ding unsaturated fatty acids. Ang difference lang, pag sinabi mong saturated fatty acids, it involves single bond between carbons. So, kung titingnan natin ang structure ng saturated fatty acids, ang makikita mo lang ay carbon to carbon single bond. But, pag tinawag mong unsaturated fatty acids, multiple bonds tayo. So, like double bond. Ang the carbons are connected by double bonds. Okay? And then again, fatty acids are used to make larger lipid molecules. Like this one, triacylglycerol or our triglycerides. Ito yung tinatawag natin na fats or pwede din oils. So, galing yan siya dyan sa fatty acids. And fatty acids may also be used to form other lipids like our steroids, yung cholesterol natin. Cholesterol ha kapag ka-animals or human. Pero walang cholesterol sa ating plants ha. We call that phytosterol kung sa plants. And then, these fatty acids are also used to make sex hormones. Yung mga estrogen and testosterone yan, galing yan siya dyan. Under yan siya sa fats. And meron din tayong fat-soluble vitamins. That's ADEK. Sinabi kong ADEK, vitamin A, D, E, and K, ito yung mga fat-loving vitamins natin. Okay, so ganahan na silang fat. So kung mainom ta ani, like, ganahan mo mainom og vitamin E, ganahan na siya dito sa fatty part or like mga adipose tissues na to. Dito na siya ma-store. So, anong gamit ng ating fatty acids? Like to make lipids, yung lipids na yan para din sa storage of energy. But this time, dili na siya, glycogen. The energy will be stored in the form of fat na siya. And we also have lipids for the structure of our membrane. So, kung titingnan natin yung fluid mosaic model, we have the lipid bilayer, tapos may embedded na mga proteins. Actually, may kasama yan siya dyang cholesterol and other types of lipids for the integrity, for the structure of the cell membrane. And we all know this, yung fats natin, kailangan natin yan siya for insulation. Okay? For insulation natin. This gives us the heat sa body or thermal blanket. And na-mention ko kanina, fatty acids are used to make sex hormones also. So, may mga hormones that are made up not of proteins but of fats or lipids. Again, just like our sex hormones, sa mga babae, ano yung sex hormones natin? Mga babae, unsa man na inyong major sex hormones? What have you learned sa inyong high school? Girls, we have the estrogen at the same time progesterone. So, si estrogen, yan yung responsible for the female secondary characteristics. When I say female secondary characteristics, yan yung hormones involved na lalaki yung breast size natin or lalapad yung balakang. Secondary lang siya ha kasi syempre yung sa babae na characteristics natin, yung reproductive system, yung organs natin. Okay, and then the chromosomes XY. So, si estrogen yan. Pero sa mga lalaki, yung magbibigay ng secondary male characteristics, syempre the testosterone, silang tatlo, galing yan siya dito. Okay? Mga lipids yan siya sa body. Kaya yung sa mga members of the LGBT class na gustong ang tawag dyan? Yung, ano nga tawag dyan? Mga transgender ba? Sorry, please correct me kasi hindi ako masyado maalam dyan sa kanila. Kung for example, yung male gusto siyang maging female, mag-assume siya ng mga female secondary characteristics like lalaki yung breast size, ito yung iniinom yan, estrogen. Yung mga babae naman, female, na gustong mag-transform, testosterone naman ang binibigay sa kanila. So that will give them the male secondary characteristics. Mag-iiba yung boses nila, ganun. Kagaya kay Jake Cyrus, no? Diba? Siyempre, itong charis pa siya, taas kaya siya magbirit, kumukanta siya, pero kaya nag-testosterone naman siya, so mag-transform din yung sa body niya into male na secondary characteristics. Kaya lalaki yung kanyang boses. Okay? The testosterone yung pwede siyang inumin kasi meron tayong oral form nito, pero meron din tayong injectable form. So I don't know kung ano yung tinitake nila. Anyway, parehas lang naman. Yung iba, nagtitake orally. Yung iba, nagpapa-inject. Okay? Any question or clarification before we'll move on to the last, ay, sobrahan. Ayan. To the last organic molecule. Organic biomolecule. Sino may gustong ipangutana? Wala. Gusto ipangutana? Sure mo din ha? Kasi natulog na mo ha? Tulog na siguro na sila din. Hibalik
Ako
og
ma'am, wait lang ha kay wala ang hand dire. Ngutana
Yes.
ko ma'am.
Yes. Ansa man?
How about katong androgen ma'am nga hormone? Like
Ah,
na-mention naman mo ang progesterone ug ang kuan, ang
unsa?
testosterone. How about katong mga androgen? Kay naapod
And,
na sa babae ug lalaki daw.
okay, ganito. Androgen is a term used for male sex hormones. So, daghan na silang hormones ang androgen, and that includes the testosterone. Okay, so testosterone is an androgen. So, para na siya sa mga lalaki, but please take note, kahit na panglalaki yan sila na hormone, it will give the male secondary characteristics. Hindi ibig sabihin walang ganun ang babae. So, kaming mga babae, meron din kaming androgens, meron din kaming testosterone sa body, pero lesser ang amount compared sa mga lalaki. Okay? Kapag ka dumami yan, pag mudaghan na siya sa amuang body, we may assume male secondary characteristics or mag-iiba ang function ng body. Example, PCOS. I don't know if you're familiar with PCOS, mga babae, polycystic ovarian syndrome. That is connected or associated sa pagdami ng testosterone sa body natin, mga babae. So, kapag dumami, tingnan niyo yung, I don't know if you know someone with PCOS class, because of the increase in testosterone, yung ovary nagkakaroon ng maraming cyst. Kaya nga polycystic. And ano yung magiging effect? Mahihirapan with the menstruation. Nadi-disturb yung ating menstrual cycle kasi dumadami yung male hormones. Right? Kasi supposedly, hindi naman nagme-menstruation ng mga lalaki, no? Tapos dumadami yung ating sex hormones. At the same time, look at someone with PCOS, sila yung maraming hair sa body. Kasi supposedly yung maraming hair na yan, that's a characteristic sa mga lalaki. Tapos pag pag dumadami ang testosterone, dumadami din yung hair ng someone, ng babae na yan. Okay? So, as girls also contain androgen. Under sa androgen, parang umbrella term yung androgen sa mga male hormones. So, kasama na dyan ang testosterone. So, kayong mga lalaki, meron kayong androgen, syempre, the testosterone, pero it doesn't mean wala kayong female hormones. Meron din kayong female hormones sa body ninyo. Pero, syempre, at a lesser amount, at a lesser level. Okay? So, pag dumami yan, mga lalaki, like members of the LGBT na nag-take ng estrogen hormone, dadami siya, magbabago din yung iyong body. So, yan na yung time na lalaki yung breast kasi yan yung function talaga ng like estrogen. And then, lalapat na yung balakang nila. And then, I know someone nga nag-take siya og estrogen para mag-smoothen lang daw ang iyahang skin. So, lalaki siya ha, para murag babae daw ang iyahang skin. So, that's the function of estrogen. So, meron tayo niyan. Pero lesser ang amount. Kanya-kanya sila na functions. Anything else? Yes, Miss Javier.
Ma'am, yung PCOS po, curable ba siya na completely mawala or the only way na ma-cure lang siya is parang ma-regulate yung production ng testosterone?
For PCOS, we correct the hormones. So, sabi ko kanina, may PCOS kasi na associated with testosterone. So, ginagawa natin, gina-manage nato ang amount ng hormone sa body. So, hindi talaga siya curable, pero we can manage. Ima-manage natin siya na maayos yung level ng hormones sa body. Actually, pwede siyang mag-start with just diet and exercise. Kasi yung hormones na yan, di ba mga fats na sila, galing sila sa fatty acids. So, if we do exercise, if we diet, that's one way to regulate ng pag-produce ng mga hormones na yan. Okay, and at the same time, ma-regulate yung amount ng sugar, ng fatty acids na ma-form. Pero meron tayong mga, mga pills na ginagamit to correct the hormones. Maraming babae ngayon na merong PCOS class. No? That's different from having cysts sa, sa ovary. Kaya nga siya tinawag na polycystic kasi maraming cyst ang nag-exist dyan sa ovary. Multiple. And magkakaroon yan ng problem with the fertility. Kasi mataas ang testosterone, mahirap magbuntis. Anything else? Ano pa, Miss Malyari?
Dini good sa topic na pagbuhat og ATP inside the cells, ma'am. Gusto na ko iingon ba na 'di ba if to make ATP vital man jud ang sugars, proteins and fats. So tinuod jud tong saying, ma'am, ba na if need dayon nimo quick energy is magkaon kag tamis. Kay 'di ba more paspas man mag-process ang ATP from sugar
Yes.
na cycle. And if mao pod ilang ginaingon na lisod magpapayat basta marami kadong fats, kay ang pinakamatagal din na conversion ng ATP is from fats din po.
Yeah, ganito. Carbohydrates are our number one source of energy inside the body. Pag i-break down nato na siya, ATP ang labas ana. Pero, pag wala kasing ginagawa, tapos consume ka lang ng consume ng carbohydrate, that's the time na masustore yan siya. Number one as glycogen doon sa liver natin and sa skeletal muscles. Pero kung puno na kasi yan siya tapos kain ka pa rin ng kain, yung carbohydrate na yan, itatransform yan siya ng body into fats. Kaya ka tumataba. So, yung fats na yan, iso-store na yan siya sa body. So, kung for example, nag-hypoglycemia ng ka, na kay energy, tama to siya. Kain ka ng sweets, kain ka ng carbohydrate that will give us energy mismo. Kasi mo gina siya tong number one source. Ang fats kasi is, mahirap siyang i-break down, no? Pero, it's still a source of energy, pero it's a weak source of energy. Weak kasi siya na source. So, kapag gusto mo ng immediate source and enough na source of energy, yung carbohydrates talaga yung number one. Pero kung nag-ingon nga carbohydrates, nang tanan ninyong kaunon ha, kay katong elementary tagitudloan kita go grow and glow foods, no? Wala to lesson to elementary tagitudlo na siya sa ato kasi we need to balance that. Okay, lisod pod kung carbohydrates na lang tanan. Actually, according to studies, ang kailangan mo lang na rice, na amount ko, kasi rice yung kinakain natin no, as the number one source ng carbohydrates natin. Unlike the other nationalities na mas mahilig sila sa tinapay or pasta din ha. Kita kanon man jud ato ang number one source. Ang kailangan lang actually natin no, pagkakain tayo ng rice, the size of your fist. Kung gaano kalaki ang fist mo, yan lang yung rice na kakainin mo. Gamayan gamay kayo, murag dili kaya no, wala tay energy ana, pero actually that's the size of your fist. Tapos kung kakain ka ng meat, karne, match box na size kanang sudlanan sa posporo ditong dako ha tong gamay, yung sudlanan sa posporo mao na siya ang ato ang need nga meat kung magkaon ta. In short, sobra-sobra gyud atong ginakaon. Kaya murag daghan jud ang ato. Di gyud ta palugian ang atong meat, no? Yes, Miss Malyari.
Ma'am, talking about the rice and carbohydrates, sigud ma'am, wala pa may kaon ma'am ba? Okay lang magmerienda sa klase ma'am.
Wala may kaon. 5 hour ba may kaon na may klaseng 7:30?
Naa, ma'am.
Kapait ani. Class carbohydrates will give us energy ha. Hindi lang yan siya for the body na kanang sa energy mismo para makalihok ka. Remember, your brain is a part of your body and for your brain to function, it needs sugar also. So, pagkaon mo. O gusto mo magkaon din ha, pagkaon mo din ha, pwede mo mananghid mag-turn off sa inyong camera. Kay lisod pod kung nag-usap-usap mo din ha, makitaan ta kanon, naka-record bitaw ni ang ato ang naka-record biya ni no, tapos nakita na to kanang usap-usap ka din ha. So, pwede ra ka mag-turn off kay magkaon ka. Kung di na gyud makaya, hindi biya na mag-function inyong brain ug wala mo ikaon. Tapos mag face to face na tag klase sa laboratory next week. Ay mo adtong eskwelahan wa mo ikaon ha, di ta mo kaya. Ano wag jud tag mo sa ninyo ani. Alright, anything else? I will end here tapos mag-break ta. Nucleotides, sorry. This is the fourth major biochemical substance inside. And still, an organic substance, but ang definite talaga sa nucleotide itong presence of nitrogen. Okay, so this nitrogen is linked to a sugar. So, meron pa rin siyang sugar and a phosphate group. So, yung nucleotides class, this is actually the building blocks ng ating nucleic acids. And we have two types of nucleic acids, the DNA and the RNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid and the ribonucleic acid. And anong function nila? Siyempre sa pag-carry ng genetic material. Okay? This is for hereditary purposes. That's the nucleotides. Ulitin ko, nucleotides, dugtong-dugtong mo, you will get the nucleic acids. And we have two types of nucleic acids, the DNA and the RNA. Especially the DNA, ito talaga yung nag-carry ng ating genetic material. But DNA will be transformed to RNA, tapos si RNA will be transformed to proteins. Important pa rin yung ating RNA. Okay? Kasi sabi ko kanina, pag walang protein, walang life. Any question before tayo mag-break? Wala? Let's pause. Time's up. Time's up. Okay. Isang slide na lang to actually. Let's finish this one. And then, next week class, mag-quiz tayo before tayo mag-laboratory experiment next week. Kasi pwede natin mag-onsite next week, ha? Mag-quiz muna ako nitong slide na ito. So, hanggang dito sa biochemical reactions from the start. So, please prepare. That will be on Wednesday next week. Sa lab siya na time, ha, hindi sa lecture. Kasi, ang lecture online pa rin tayo. Tapos sa hapon, punta tayo school for our laboratory experiment. Okay? Sige. So, let's talk about biochemical reactions. Sabi ko kanina, we have 4 major na biochemical substances that include our amino acids, our fatty acids that make up our lipid, and then we have our sugars, our monosaccharides, as well as our nucleotides. So all in all, lahat sila involved sa mga biochemical reactions sa ating body. And we call these biochemical reactions as metabolism. Ayan yung tawag natin sa chemical reactions inside, metabolism. So pag sinabing metabolism, ano na yun? Kabuuan. Total sum of the chemical reaction happening in a living organism. Okay, so meron yan siyang kanya-kanyang purpose. Depende kung anong chemical reaction ang nag-exist. Now, under the metabolism, we have 2 types, anabolism and catabolism. Metabolism is the total. Si anabolism, ito yung chemical reaction involved in building or making larger molecules. Meaning, this one is involved sa mga biosynthetic pathways natin. Or well, asan na akong pen? Ayan. Ayan. So, anong ibig sabihin ng anabolism? Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. For example, amino acid is our building block sa protein. Meaning nun, kapag nagdikit-dikit yung mga amino acids na yan, tapos nag-build up na siya ngayon ng proteins, the process is anabolism. So, from smaller molecule to larger molecule. That's biosynthetic, meaning nagpo-produce ka ngayon ng malalaking molecules. Okay? So, si catabolism naman, baliktad. This one is the degradation of large substances, large molecules in the body. Just like kung meron kang protein, i-degrade siya, you will get smaller amino acids. Or, for example, kumain ka ng rice, it's a sugar, a carbohydrate, a very big molecule. Siyempre, dinidegrade natin yan inside. And sabi ko kanina, di ba, our product is ATP, our energy. Under yan siya sa catabolism. Okay? So, magde-degrade. For example, glucose natin, mag-glycolysis siya, it will give us pyruvate. So, degradation yun of fuel molecules, and then ang ending, we will get the energy. But, please take note, anabolism plus catabolism, that is what you call metabolism. So, this is the total. Okay? So, this may happen in one pathway, both anabolism and catabolism. So, ito yung functions. Bakit tayo nagme-metabolize sa body? Siyempre, para makakuha tayo and makakagamit tayo ng energy. Okay? And then, at the same time, we do metabolism inside our body to get what we need to make cells and to make sure that they are properly functioning. So just like when we make proteins, that's under anabolism. You have amino acids and then you'll get proteins afterwards. And then nucleic acids also for our genes, for our chromosomes. That's DNA. So under yan siya sa nucleic acids. And we make that inside our body. So metabolism is very important para mabuo yan siya. As well as the lipids. And kapag ka nakakita kayo ng CHO, that means carbohydrates, ha? Kasi minsan tinatamad magsulat, no? Hindi na sinusulat ang ang carbohydrate na word, nilalagyan na lang CHO. Bakit CHO? Kasi carbohydrates contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Kapag ka CHO naman, may nitrogen, that's proteins. That's the difference between the chemical composition of our carbohydrates and our proteins. Now, aside from that, syempre, our body also produces waste materials. So, we do metabolism also to get rid of these waste materials. Okay, so yan yung mga primary functions ng ating mga chemical reactions inside the body, and we call that metabolism. Right? Any question? That is the end of the slide. So why all these biochemicals are essential in living organisms? Ano yung sagot natin? Yung mga chemicals na yan make up the whole body natin. So gikan sa ulo hangtod sa tiil, chemicals yan lahat. And endogenous, meaning yung body natin mismo ang nagpo-produce. Kagaya ng protein, which is very important. No protein, no life. Carbohydrates, no carbohydrate. Kulang tayo sa energy. Kaya I hope meron na kayong energy dyan kasi I believe kumain kayo kanina. And then extend pa yung ating break. Any question or clarification?